Hi everybody, my name is Christina Hunter and this is my presentation on my community in words and pictures. My community is Wilmington, Delaware. On this first cover page I did include a map of an aerial view of Wilmington, Delaware from 1874. I thought it was a pretty cool looking map from that long ago. Next up I'm just going to go over a few facts about Delaware. You can see this first map that I included shows where Delaware is all the way over to the right side, so we're considered the East Coast. Delaware was the first state to join the Union in 1787, which is how we got our nickname, the first state. Most people do already know this, but President Biden resides in Delaware, of course, when he's not in D.C., and he does like to travel to Delaware quite often and cause a lot of traffic delays and congestion, and a lot of Delawareans, get very frustrated with that. Delaware has no sales tax. We are the second smallest state, second to Rhode Island. Our square mileage is 2,489, and our current population as of 2021 is 990,334. Delaware does consist of 3 separate counties, so I included this map over here. You can see we have Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex, and I reside in Newcastle County in the Wilmington area right over here. Newcastle County is the largest county out of the 3, and we have a population of 561,159. So then getting into my community, a few facts about my community, Wilmington, Delaware. I did include a map over here, and this is just like an aerial view of downtown Wilmington. I don't actually live in the downtown area, but I just thought that was a really cool picture. Wilmington is the largest city in Delaware. Wilmington got its name from Thomas Penn, who was a proprietor of Pennsylvania, and he named the town after a close friend of his, Spencer Compton, Earl of Wilmington, in 1739. Wilmington is the headquarters of many large corporations, such as financial institutions, chemical products, creative tech companies. We manufacture a lot of services and goods, processed foods, stuff like that. The population in just Wilmington is 69,584. So then this next map, I just kind of wanted to give you a overview of the different neighborhoods in Wilmington. I was pretty surprised that there are 59 neighborhoods just in Wilmington. I live in a development or neighborhood called Richardson Park / Belmore, because the front part is called Richardson Park. The back part is now called Belmore, which is where I live, but I still consider it Richardson Park just because I've lived here for so long. And if you see, I kind of put an arrow. This little portion right here is where my neighborhood is. So next we're just going to go into some formal institutions from Wilmington, Delaware. Like I had said previously, we do have a lot of companies, corporations, institutions in Delaware and primarily in Wilmington. I think it has something to do with the tax, and they get a really huge break if they are headquartered in Delaware. So one of the first ones I included was Astrazeneca, which is a global science-led biopharmaceutical business. Christiana, which is a huge health system and has just grown in the last few years. They have Christiana Hospital, Wilmington Hospital, and then they have a ton of family practices or, specialty practices and medical aid units and stuff like that. So it's really big. Another hospital that we have in Wilmington is the Nemours Children's Hospital, and we are extremely lucky to have that because I know a lot of states, cities don't have a children's hospital, and they, have to travel if something, God forbid, happened to a child. So continuing on, a few more major employers that I wanted to include. DuPont is huge in Wilmington. They create essential innovations using science within safety, healthcare, electronics, mobility, construction systems, and many, many more. When I was doing this research, I was really surprised about, so many things that DuPont is involved in. And then we have Bank of America, which is one of the world's largest financial institutions. Then we have Amazon. They just built a warehouse fulfillment center literally 5 minutes from my house, and it's pretty huge. Of course, I know there's a ton of different Amazons, but that was a big deal getting, jobs and employment for a lot of people, especially around this time. And then the last one is the state of Delaware. We had, it's a government agency, and we have a lot of people working for that agency as well. Continuing on with some formal institutions, I just want to talk a little bit about education. First, we're just going to talk about preschool to 12th grade. So there are 111 schools in Wilmington. 57 of them are public or charter schools. 54 of them are private schools. And then our public school is divided into districts, and Wilmington covers 4 of those: Christiana School District, Red Clay Consolidated School District, which is where I live, and Brandywine School District, and then Newcastle County Votech. There's 2 schools that are in Wilmington for the Votech. And then I just included this table that goes over education compared to gender, and I thought it was a pretty interesting table. It's based on 2019. They did, the census for 25 and older, and then it just breaks it down by which level, how much education each, person has, and then comparing it up here with the gender as well. So it's pretty interesting to see that, how it fluctuates between male, female, but once you get into the higher grades, you can see that it's mostly female that completes that portion of the education. So then next, still continuing with formal institutions education, these are colleges in Wilmington, Delaware. One of the big ones is Goldie Beacom. It's it's not big, but it's a business school, and a lot of people go there once they, are established into a job, and then they go back to get a degree. The next one over here is the Weidner University Delaware School of Law, and that's actually where I went and got my undergrad from. I have my undergrad in paralegal studies. There's other colleges that are have locations. They're not actually based out of Wilmington, but they have locations in Wilmington, so I just wanted to include those as well. University of Delaware is a huge school, but it's located in Newark, Delaware, but they do have, I think, one smaller location in Wilmington. Delaware Technical and Community College, that's our big community college in Delaware, and we do have one based out of Wilmington. Then we have Wilmington University. That was based out of Wilmington for a while, and then they moved into Newcastle, but they do have a smaller school in Wilmington still. And then we have Delaware College of Art and Design. That school, you can only get an associate's degree. Then continuing on, I thought it was pretty interesting when I learned about national parks. Delaware was every other state has a national park. Delaware was the last one to get a national park, which was established in 2015. It's called the First State National Historic Park, and it literally covers 7 important locations throughout Delaware. And the park's mission is to show how Delaware played an important role in the country's founding, so from the beginning until now. But since I'm focusing only on Wilmington, there are 4 important locations that are included in this historic national park. The first one is, I put a couple pictures here of Beaver Valley. Then this one is the Old Swedes Historic Site, which is an old, one of the first churches. Fort Christiana over here, and then one of the oldest houses to be built and that are still around resides in Wilmington still. It's called the Rives, I think you say, Holt House. And then getting into some informal institutions. One big thing is that we have the riverfront, which is in Wilmington, and in the past few years they've really built this up. There's a ton of things to do there. One of the big things is that we have the Daniel S. Frauley Stadium, which hosts tons of events throughout the year, but one of the primary things for the stadium is for the Wilmington Blue Rocks, who are one of the most successful minor league baseball teams right here. And I've visited, we've gone and saw games several times. My kids' school that high school that they go to, DMA, their baseball team played the championship there, so that was pretty cool to watch. We have a ton of museums in Wilmington, Delaware. We have a ton of theaters. I wanted to just include those because they're important to me, and me and my kids really enjoy going to those several times per year. And then lastly, I just wanted to kind of focus a little bit on religion, churches, those kinds of things. Right here is a picture of St. Matthew's Catholic Church, which is really close to my neighborhood, and it's the church that I belong to and have belonged to since I was a child, and my kids still go, get their sacraments from there. And then I included this table over here just comparing religions in Wilmington, Delaware. And I was pretty shocked that, it was such a high number for none, meaning, they didn't affiliate with a specific religion. And then next up was Catholic, was one of the higher percentages, which I guess I kind of knew, but I know this is an older statistic from 2010, so I know it's definitely come down. And then getting into the demographic description. Wilmington, Delaware, like I had mentioned before, we have 69,584 in our population from 2021. Wilmington is the 538th largest city in the United States. Wilmington it's currently declining in a rate of annual population of 0.42%. In 2010, Wilmington's population was 70,851. In 1940, Wilmington reached its highest population, which was 112,504. And at the very beginning, around 1850, the census showed almost 14,000 people located in Wilmington. And then continuing on with the demographic description, age and gender. So this table over here is just it says Wilmington population pyramid. It is a table that shows age compared to gender. Some important things that I just wanted to note